Ça fonctionne mieux avec le micro d'allumé. Bonjour tout le monde, salut YouTube, salut Twitch, comment allez-vous? Salut Flashy Sphere, comment ça va? Passez un beau samedi. Et vive le sabre, oui t'as raison. C'est un super vaisseau que je déteste, mais ça c'est une opinion personnelle. Salut troll, comment vas-tu? Êtes-vous prêts pour le ATV Watch Party tout le monde? Salut Néos, comment vas-tu? 72 notifications sur YouTube. On va aller direct sur le YouTube de Star Citizen. On s'en fout du Happy Hour. Ce qu'on veut, c'est le Ship Shape. On commence ça au tout début. En plein écran, j'ai appris de la semaine dernière. Salut Corzem! J'espère que je te débaptise pas trop. J'ai cette fâcheuse tendance-là à débaptiser les gens. Ah, moi ça va bien. J'ai dormi quelque chose comme 13 heures à la suite. Salut Maxime! Ouais, ça fait du bien dormir. Assez... c'est assez spécial parce que hier vers les 18h, en fait il y a une espèce de rhume qui se promène dans la maison. Tout le monde l'avait eu sauf moi, et là hier à 18h là, ma santé s'effondre, les yeux me pleurent, le nez me coule, j'arrête plus d'éternuer, je fonctionne plus là. Et j'ai été un peu chanceux parce que j'ai fini d'enregistrer l'audio 5 minutes avant. Pour la prochaine vidéo. Et là, ma femme me regarde, elle me dit « Va donc te coucher. » Et d'habitude, quand elle me dit ça, je fais comme « Non, t'es malade, j'irai pas me coucher, là, c'est pas vrai, là. Non. Là, les enfants sont encore debout, là. » Et là, je ramasse ma boîte de mouchoirs, je me traîne jusqu'à mon lit et je m'affale. Je m'ouvre les yeux, il est 9h du matin. Quoi? Ok! Et donc, je suis en forme. On dirait que j'ai même plus le rhume. Non, mais écoutez-moi parler. Bon. Et si on envoyait ce ATV-là, qu'est-ce que vous en pensez? Après tout, c'est pour ça que vous êtes là. On va étirer le chat de Restream, histoire d'être sûr de pas manquer les commentaires de personne. Et voilà! Donc aujourd'hui, on commence avec le Around the Verse The Shape of Derelict Ships. Ce qui est un vrai tongue twister quand on est habitué de dire ship shape. Là, vous le dites, si le son a un problème ou s'il y a quoi que ce soit, gênez-vous pas. Que ce soit sur Twitch ou sur Twitter, sur Twitch ou sur YouTube, gênez-vous pas, je lis les chats de toutes.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Around the Verse, our weekly look at Star Citizen's ongoing development. I'm Sandy Gardner.
And I'm Chris Smith.
On today's show, we'll take a look at some of the derelict ships that will be scattered around Crusaders' moons in 3.0 and eventually all across the Star Citizen universe.
But before we go searching for wrecked ships, let's check in with Eric Curran Davis for an update from our Los Angeles studio.
Hey everyone.
Ok, je vais essayer de faire mieux que la semaine dernière puis de vous traduire un peu plus de matériel, que ce soit plus intéressant.
Glad to have you back in Los Angeles. I'm Eric Curran Davis, and I'm here with your monthly studio update. As you may have read in the production schedule this month, we hit our second internal pre-Evocati milestone on Star Citizen Alpha 3.0.
Ok, ils ont frappé la deuxième plus gros deadline pré-Evocati pour la 3.0.
which have allowed our daily director reviews to get a comprehensive understanding of how all the new features are working together. These have really energized the team and we're really excited at what we're starting to see. So,
mais il nous dit pas c'est quoi. Ah! Tease! En fait, il nous dit que c'était très important. Ça a permis d'emboîter plusieurs autres éléments ensemble pour que et enfin là ils ont une meilleure idée de où ils en sont, qu'est-ce qui reste à travailler grâce à ce milestone là.
let's dig into some of the things that Los Angeles completed this month. Our engineering team worked towards delivering on some of the core 3.0 persistence and entity system features.
OK. Ils ont avancé beaucoup sur en fait, le système de persistance pour la 3.0. Les éléments clés sont presque tous terminés. Il y en a plusieurs qui viennent d'être terminés.
We finished a large refactor on something we call the Persistent Data Manager, which changes the way data is stored, modified, and accessed while playing the game. This change allows us to distinguish between physical and legal ownership. This distinction is a core requirement to support many systems such as criminality, missions, and persistent spawning.
Le système qui gère la propriété des vaisseaux, là, comme est-ce que c'est mon constellation ou c'est le tien? C'est un des systèmes qui est super important parce que ça gère la criminalité, entre autres choses. Beaucoup de persistance parce que ce système permet aussi de savoir quel vaisseau qui est rendu où, comment est-ce qu'il est équipé, les dommages qu'il a reçus. Bon, ça là, c'est fini, c'est fait. Check.
We're now leveraging this new physical ownership feature to develop tracking and management, which will allow for parking. For example, say you park your new pristine Nox inside of a Cutlass Black, it will be there the next time you call your ship. We'd hate to be the reason it's Nox where you expect it.
Il vient de faire une espèce de Nox spawn là, en disant que c'est important pour eux autres que quand tu stationnes ton Nox tout neuf dans un Cutlass, que la prochaine fois que tu cales ton vaisseau, le Nox y est dedans, tu sais. Il dit, on aimerait bien ça que le Nox soit dedans au lieu qu'il Nox pas, tu sais. En tout cas, la traduction de la blague est pas vraiment faisable, mais c'était une blague de Nox. Comme on en a vu passer comme 5000 sur Twitter. Donc oui, on va pouvoir parquer nos vaisseaux, stationner nos vaisseaux à l'intérieur de d'autres, et ça va marcher.
We've been hard at work on the cargo to shopping experience. So whether you gain that cargo through a mission, exploring derelict wreckage, or just outgunning a fast-moving hauler, we want to feel seamless and satisfying. So our engineers have been working on the placement of cargo crates into your ship's cargo grid, cargo debris generation on a ship explosion, and migrating lifetime policy into game rules, which is how we're going to make sure this information stays attached to you.
OK, ils ont travaillé sur le système qui gère en fait tout ce qui est cargo. Que ce soit du cargo, peu importe la façon qu'on acquiert le cargo, que ce soit dans un qu'on le vole dans un vaisseau de transport comme un hull, que ce soit en l'achetant, que ce soit en le trouvant dans une épave, eh bien tout ce qui se rattache à qu'est-ce qui se passe avec ce cargo-là, comment il reste attaché aux joueurs, ils ont travaillé là-dessus.
Once your ship has your hard-earned cargo, it will generate certain percentage of cargo in the cargo grid. Then presumably, you'll want to sell that cargo. So our engineers have integrated this newly complete shop code with the Solar System Shopping Service, which...
Et ils ont aussi travaillé sur le système qui vous permet de vous en défaire de ce cargo-là. C'est-à-dire, là, ce qu'ils nous montrent, c'est les kiosques de shopping. Là.
Allows the shop inventories to populate dynamically. It also allows items and commodity stock to be influenced by the purchases and sales of other players. Now, over on planets, we've put the finishing touches on our gravity lev system, which was needed for some ground vehicles, specifically as changes to the planets, physics zones, IFC or Intelligent Flight Control System, and some other necessary improvements left the hovering vehicles dragging more than hovering. So our new GravLev system is an improvement over the original system in many important ways. So your future hovering adventures are going to be just getting better and better. Now over on the tech content team,
ils ont travaillé sur le système qui fait flotter les vaisseaux comme ben, toutes les graveleves, là, dans le fond, ça va influencer beaucoup sur le Nox, évidemment, le... je dis Drake Cutlass dans ma tête, mais c'est pas ça, là, c'est... la moto, là, ça y est, j'ai pas le nom, j'ai pas le nom, mais c'est ça. En fait, tous les vaisseaux qui flottent au-dessus du sol, même le Prowler, ils ont refait tout le système des graveleves parce que ils trouvaient que certains vaisseaux se trouvaient plus comme à se traîner plutôt qu'à flotter. Fait qu'ils ont décidé de tout refaire le système et là c'est fait et ça fonctionne et c'est beaucoup mieux que c'était.
they've had quite a productive month. You may have seen examples of our mission giver Miles Eckhart, and meeting him in a bar is no coincidence. He tends to be at his best when he's got a couple drinks in him, so we wanted to make sure his cup was always full and moving. So we've set up some runtime simulations for the undefined liquid in his cup. That
Merci
not
Maxime,
only
c'est ça,
follows his
Dragonfly.
animal movements, but will also respect planetary gravity. This is a great first step in a more liquid-filled world, and to ensure that they react as expected, we've used one of our first active mission givers cup as the first implementation, which you'll see in 3.0.
Ils ont gossé, ils ont travaillé sur le... Ouais, c'est en plein ça, la moto, le Dragonfly. Merci Maxime. Ils ont travaillé sur les physiques des liquides pour que le verre de bière de Miles Eckhart, un des premiers NPC qu'on va rencontrer dans l'univers qui va nous donner des quêtes, là. Lui, il est tout le temps dans un bar, fait que ça il prenait un verre de bière, là. C'était le minimum. Fait que là, ils ont travaillé sur la physique du liquide pour que quand il promène son verre, ben, on n'ait pas l'impression que c'est un verre en solide, là. La bière gelée, c'est pas bien bon.
If Miles' cup is half full or half empty. Another exciting simulation to keep bringing Star Citizen alive is the springy landing gear technology we've now introduced to many ships. Up until now, ships have landed as gracefully as a cinder block, no matter how good a pilot you are. And to rectify this, we've begun implementing the landing springs and compression technology to allow for a
La
bit more
technologie de
cushioned
compression
landing
des
experience, especially on uneven terrain. Not only will you feel the difference, you'll also see the landing gear react naturally.
Des trains d'atterrissage pour qu'ils écrasent. T'sais, au lieu que ce soit comme un bloc de ciment, là, t'atterris à terre pis POC! Ça bouge pas, là, ils vont swinger un peu, ils vont écraser pour prendre leur position.
And they've made progress on improving several tools to help everyone speed things up and be a bit more efficient, including usable requests, Maya loadouts, vertex reorder, character requests, playbrass, and so on. Now, one tool that they made exciting progress on is updates to our exporter. We've now taken the latest Lumberyard updates and bug fixes and incorporated some of our own to the exporter UI. This means that anyone working within the Maya pipeline benefits from these fixes and improves their overall workflow. Now, our QA team has been focused upon the now completed conversion of all ships to Item 2.0. And
Je viens d'entendre Now Complete Export to Item 2.0. Là, il parlait des vaisseaux, là. J'ai-tu bien compris, là? Ils ont fini d'exporter tous les vaisseaux vers le système d'objets 2.0. Sweet!
and testing new other features for 3.0, such as the updated quantum travel system, new planetary missions, and the new Moby Glass functionality. They also supported the global team with various test requests as new features continue to come online.
Ils ont continué de
Now, since our
tester
last
le
update, another
Moby
ship is under
Glass.
production. The Anvil Hurricane is now in the white box phase of the pipeline, and we've already completed
Hurricane
temp
en white
exterior
box.
and interior lighting, proxy animations, temp interactive cockpit control layout, and set up almost final hierarchy of the ship, temp proxies, and the
Bon,
ship is
là, il
now
est en
set
train
up
d'énumérer
for the initial breakpoint
tout ce qui est
damage.
fait puis ce qui reste à
The
faire, là,
Anvil
mais
exit and seated
ce qui est
templates
important de
for
savoir,
turret
c'est
and
que
pilots are also set up.
il avance. Il est en production puis il y a des affaires qui se font.
Now, during this phase, the main reason we set up temp stuff is to make sure all of the parts of the ship that we are aiming to build are all functioning as intended. For example, a temp animation doesn't articulate exactly as it will in the final, but allows us to see where we may need to adjust it in the final asset, as well as the temp lighting is, so we know exactly where to build the lighting fixtures. Now, this is all done to set a plan of action to allow for the production of the final assets to go faster and smoother. It also allows the entire ship team to have a clear vision of the plan for the ship. We're really excited to see this ship take the verse by storm. And finally, our character team is in full force, knocking out a vast amount of new high-quality work for both Squadron 42 and Star Citizen.
Bon, l'équipe des personnages, bon, ils travaillent à fond sur Squadron 42 puis sur d'autres paquets de niaiseries.
In production, we've moved more bridge officer uniforms from concept
les
to
uniformes
their and they're making rapid progress.
L'équipage de pont.
Combat pilot flight suit for Shubin is also going through the high poly phase and moving into in-game modeling and texturing in the near future. Another combat flight suit that will be used by some of our outlaws is in the high poly phase, then we'll move into in-game modeling.
Ça, c'est un flight suit pour certains hors-la-loi.
And also into texturing. Our medical corpsman has gone through high poly and into
Équipe médicale, on voit le symbole sur l'épaule.
With the introduction of the Levski landing zone on the Delamar asteroid, we have a few civilian costumes ready to go in the verse to help populate the People's Alliance of Levski. And now on the topic of customization, we're starting to explore other opportunities, and one of which will be tattoos. While I may not have any in real life, I may be rocking a sleeve like our character art director Josh Herman in the verse. We've also made a lot of progress on several concepts, like the new shipjacker concept. You may want us to keep this one in concept, because once he's in game, we can't take it back. Speaking of healing in battle, we've made solid progress on battle damage versions of our costumes for our NPCs to help you understand how or why someone passed away in the verse. And lastly, we're establishing the look of the new Moby-Glass. As you know, Moby-Glass is quite a difficult asset as it has to exist constantly on the player while also being grounded in the future world. While a lot of games get away with obvious HUD projections or holographic displays, our Moby-Glass has to come from a piece that's physically placed on the character, which means it needs to be present on a naked wrist, a wrist with long sleeves, a wrist with jackets, and then to add complexity, it needs to also fit on undersuits and armor. With this in mind, and are really excited by the prospects of this new piece.
Ok, il expliquait tous les défis que représente le Moby-Glass, parce que le Moby-Glass, en fait, c'est comme une montre, sauf que cette montre-là, il faut qu'on puisse la porter avec des manches courtes, avec des manches longues, avec un jacket, avec un manteau, sur notre undersuit de notre scaphandre, avec le scaphandre. Ce qui fait que c'est une pièce qui est super difficile à intégrer à tout, spécialement au scaphandre. Je sais pas comment est-ce qu'on fait pour y toucher s'il est en dessous du scaphandre. Donc, il y a beaucoup de défis rattachés à ça, mais ils sont contents parce que ils ont trouvé une solution.
And that's it for us here in Los Angeles. Thanks for watching, and thank you to all of our subscribers for providing the support that allows us to give you this.
Ouais, Maxime, c'est dans le genre.
Have an amazing weekend, and LA out.
Lots of impressive work being done by the character team.
Yeah, the team is killing it. A lot of effort and detail goes into each character to make sure that players can get a sense of personality just by looking at them.
As part of the push for 3.0, our team of vehicle artists have been creating a look and feel for all the destroyed vehicles that will be scattered on the moons of Crusader.
The team tackled a number of issues besides making sure the wrecks don't all look the same. For one, they had to figure out a way to place them on uneven ground.
For more details, let's check in with the team to see what went into making those wrecks look so good.
Les épaves! Je sens qu'il va en avoir beaucoup de ça.
The whole derelict process started last year. You probably remember the demo that we done at Gamescom. You saw a starfarer in a kind of a derelict state. We also then took that information.
L'idée des épaves, ça a commencé il y a un an avec la démo de la Gamescom.
So the R&D process was kind of done mid last year. It's kind of exponentially grown from there.
So initially, the sort of task that was given to us was to create these derelict sites, and at the beginning it was sort of more of a technical challenge where we were just trying to break the ship apart, but then I think gradually over time, the more we started to delve into it, the more the possibilities of what could be done with it was just sort of growing and growing in scope. So
merci pour le follow, Vince Plop.
Things like inhabited like space.
Plus qui sont amusés à jouer, parce qu'au début là, leur idée c'était juste de briser les vaisseaux puis de les mettre là, puis c'était ça, mais plus qui ont pardonnez-moi l'expression québécoise, mais plus qu'ils ont gossé, qu'ils ont joué avec ça, ben plus ils se sont mis à dire ah mais là on pourrait rajouter telle affaire, on pourrait faire ci, faire ça, et là
Sides, sites that have been taken over by bandits. You could be set up as decoys for potential enemies that could be kind of waiting there for play.
Et là, ça a de plus en plus de possibilités. Là. Ça peut être... tu sais, ils peuvent maintenant enlever des pièces qui ont été volées par des bandits. Ils peuvent se servir des épaves comme de... un decoy, c'est un... mon anglais est souvent meilleur que mon français, je m'en excuse. Un decoy, c'est un appât. C'est un appât pour rediriger notre attention vers l'épave au lieu de ce qui est un peu plus loin. Ça peut servir d'embuscade, ça peut servir de toutes sortes de choses.
And then sort of jump into and then surprise them. And the more we thought about it, the more it sort of grew and the more ideas that sort of came about from it. So it started off as more of a technical sort of challenge and just trying to get something in there, and it sort of grew in scope as we went along, which was for us like a really exciting thing.
Comme Star Citizen, tu pars avec une idée grosse de même, puis là ils ont fini par faire une montagne avec ça.
Outposts which you've already seen and the derelicts which you see in today, and it's kind of a really kind of good opportunity to just sort of get really creative with the assets that we've already made. There's no real kind of breakdown of the ship that exists because we already have to kind of break the head off and break the body into parts for the whole damage system to work in the engine. So it's about,
si on s'en souvient, c'est les images de la Gamescom.
And getting really creative with it, and kind of scattering these things on planets. So you'll come across several different scenarios of derelicts. So we wanted to kind of get down to a key of like how
de mémoire là, quand on tire sur quelqu'un comme ça là, dans Star Marine, il tombe plus vite que ça.
And potentially, how it's aged. So if you come across something in a desert, it's generally quite a very kind of dry erosion kind of type that you see on metal. If you come across something in the snow, it's completely
Il arrêtait pas de sauter.
Something in the swamp is completely different again. So we have all this information that we need to kind of make work on these assets with as little human input as possible, should we say. So we had to be very kind of clever with the shader setup to work in different biomes efficiently.
It all really comes down to how big the ship is and how the interior was laid out. For example, the ship I was working on, the Caterpillar, is a very, very modular ship by the design and how it was built in universe. So I was allowed to go actually quite big with how many modules I could use for it. And that allowed me to create as many different scenarios and sets, from just two small pieces to the almost full complete ship.
Okay. Avec le Caterpillar, il a pu faire à peu près tout ce qu'il pouvait penser à faire parce que le vaisseau est tellement gros, tellement modulaire. Tu peux le briser, il pouvait le briser de toutes les façons qu'il pouvait imaginer en utilisant tous les modules qu'il pouvait parce que le Caterpillar est tellement modulaire, donc il peut avoir toutes sortes de pièces d'intérieur.
And it's just on the planet, and you can go there and study and can come up close to it. You kind of need to put a little bit more detail into it.
With these derelict sites, we kind of wanted to give the player a point on a planet somewhere in the universe, which gave them a destination. And we didn't want the destination to be simply just some pieces on the floor.
Salut Cooper.
So for us, we want to explore
C'est gentil de passer, merci.
The idea of these derelict sites being a character within themselves. So when you approach a derelict site, you could then, just by looking at it, seeing what it offered, whether it's hostile, whether it's something that was a severe crash, whether it's a place that's been taken over by bandits. And so with that, we wanted to create these little pockets in space where players could go and feel like they were part of like history, and there was a bit of story behind them and a bit of growth behind them. And for us, it was a great opportunity.
For sure, if a ship has kind of been laid to rest, should we say, in a desert, then it does kind of...
Une des choses qui est importante pour l'équipe quand ils ont commencé à fabriquer le système pour mettre les morceaux de vaisseau détruits, c'était que d'un coup d'œil, le joueur puisse déterminer si est-ce que ça fait longtemps que le vaisseau il est là, est-ce que il est occupé, est-ce que c'est un écrasement sévère, est-ce que il y a des survivants, est-ce que ça a été reconverti en habitation? Est-ce que... Ça faisait partie des choses qui voulaient absolument qu'il soit évident pour les joueurs, pour nous donner un sentiment de faire partie d'une espèce de l'histoire de l'univers de Star Citizen.
Almost kind of mold in with the sand in a certain direction. So you can get very kind of creative with how that kind of merges in with different terrain types for sure. But also you can go complete other spectrum, like what are you going to do if you find something in a lake? What are you going to do if you find something hanging off the edge of a waterfall? You know, there's so many kind of creative opportunities to create these moments that a player vividly remembers, like the first time they come across that site. It's our job.
Ouais, c'est ça. Ils veulent créer quelque chose de mémorable. La première fois que tu vas arriver, que les joueurs vont arriver devant l'épave d'un Caterpillar, ils veulent qu'on se souvienne de ce moment-là précis.
If you worked in film, you will generally have like a location scout at pre-production who will kind of go through the script and they'll be appointed to go out around the world and find these key locations that would suit the script. So it could be anywhere in the world. So it's very much, we have to do like a mini version of that in the editor. So we have to go out and find these locations that kind of complement the sites that we're trying to make. It's not as simple as place, site here, done, and walk away. If you were to fly around a planet on a ship, it would take you an extremely long time. Right, so you'd have staff sat there all day flying their ships, just going, oh, I think down there look nice and great. I'm sure they'd love it. But the fact remains we can't do that. So in the editor, we can just kind of essentially warp speed around these planets, locate sites, locate valleys, you know, and it's really interesting that a certain site may look a certain way at a certain time of day, but when that planet rotates and the sunset kicks in, it's a completely different animal. So we have to kind of, you know, you think about that as well. And the habitation side of things, like we want to get into...
Regarde, c'était... Hey, Aurelius! Merci beaucoup de passer. Comment se passe l'adaptation au nouvel appartement? As-tu reçu tes meubles?
You want to also have enough room so you can place your derelict in such a way that the light just goes exactly where you want it. So it's like a nice glancing or a nice kind of complementing light on the derelict itself, which further kind of intensifies the effect.
It's interesting because you know it's almost you're doing exactly what they're doing in real life.
T'as un lit au moins maintenant?
and kind of you're setting the scene up to be hopefully beautiful when the player comes across it.
When players sort of navigating around, they might just see a sneak peek of a little bit of a Starfarer or a little bit of a Gladius or whichever ship that may be, and suddenly it becomes an intriguing point, and then suddenly you're lured into this location that you never imagined. And I think it's moments like that which just add to the whole universe, where you never expect to come across something, and suddenly you find something which just tells a tale in the story.
Un des gros problèmes qu'on a rencontrés quand ils ont commencé à travailler sur ça, c'est que les... Pas de matelas, mais on a un... Aurelius, pas de matelas, mais on a un truc en attendant. Ah ouais, vous dormez sur un matelas soufflé? Bon, c'est mieux que rien. C'est toujours mieux que de dormir dans le panier du chien. Un des gros problèmes qu'on a rencontrés dans l'éditeur quand ils ont... Eh bien, tu reviendras plus tard, Aurelius. Dans l'éditeur, les sites sont permanents. Les sites sont là et restent là. Quand quelqu'un commence à travailler sur un site dans l'univers permanent, comment tu fais pour le retrouver après sur une planète de 25 000 km²? Ils ont dû, parce qu'ils n'y avaient pas pensé, patenter, faire un bookmark pour automatiquement voyager jusqu'à cet endroit-là pour pouvoir continuer de travailler. Parce que sinon, fudge, c'était où donc? Puis là, ça a bougé, puis ça finit plus, là.
When we come to work on a derelict site and how we approach it, we sort of have to use our own imagination and kind of come up with our own scenarios of what could have possibly happened in this crash site, what could potentially have developed over time with a crash site, because it might just be an initial crash, but then over time different factions might have taken it over, so they might have all left a little trace of history. And for us, there's no written law in any of this. It's kind of up to us to just go a bit sort of wild with our imagination, sort of really push it. And it's great for us as an artist because it's a bit different from just a sterile ship. We saw with these derelict ships, it was a way to take the existing assets and do so much more with them.
The first part of the process, obviously, we kind of build off
ça lui permet de faire autre chose avec les atouts qui existent là. Tu peux transformer un Starfarer en à peu près n'importe quoi, une maison, une centrale électrique. Une fois que c'est tombé là, puis que ça rouille, ben, les gens qui habitent sur cette planète-là peuvent récupérer, réutiliser la structure pour un peu n'importe quoi.
So as we've worked and the guys have kind of worked on this stuff, we've been going, oh, you know what would be really cool? Like, you know, could we set up a little base here where someone's kind of taken the husk of, or you know, the hull of a cutlass, and they've created a little hacking pod out of it. That instantly transforms that ship into being something completely different, and it's a makeshift home for someone. And yeah, kind of like if you were to find a site potentially up high in a high altitude, for sure, like where you're going to get power from. Obviously you've got solar panels which you can use, but we're also trying to get movement into the scenes as well. So rather than these kind of static sites, just put in some windmill fans, generating a bit of power, you know, a few aerials wisping in the wind. Cloth obviously speaks thousands of words when it's moving. There's all these kind of little things that we're trying to do to kind of, you know, it's like that kind of subconscious meaning to everything that we're trying to execute at the same time, which is cool. I think it's really cool, and the guys have done really well at kind of creating this kit that complements the sites as they are. So, as I said, we started off with the base hull, and you're still going to get these sites. You know, 80% of them you're just going to find the ship, and there's going to be nothing in there. The other 20% will be someone's come across it and they've decided to make it their home. They're out.
Il est en train d'expliquer que 80% des épaves qu'on va trouver, on va rentrer dedans et il n'y aura juste plus rien. Mais l'autre 20%, l'autre 1 sur 5, là, en simple, ben là, il y a quelqu'un qui va avoir fait quelque chose avec, qui va l'avoir transformé en maison. Il y a quelqu'un qui va être en train de la vider. Il y a quelqu'un qui va être, qui va l'avoir transformé en... ils ont eu l'idée là, de transformer un Cutlass en station de piratage. Fait il avait pris l'épave d'un Cutlass, puis il avait installé des serveurs, des antennes, toutes sortes de choses là. On va aussi pouvoir tomber sur des espèces de bases pirates cachées dans l'épave de quelque chose, d'un vaisseau là, un Starfarer transformé en base pirate ou un Caterpillar transformé en base pirate.
Post. Maybe it's a smuggler's den. There's all these kind of archetypes that you can kind of tap into to get really creative.
Quite a big technical limitation that we had to always keep in mind was that the derelicts, we're not going on a planet and we're not going there and just creating piece by piece like we would a bespoke city or a bespoke location. They have to kind of work wherever future artist or a future designer would want to place them. So we had to always keep in mind that the ground it's going to be placed on, it can be flat or it can be fairly distorted.
Placer ces épaves-là dans un système, encore une fois, procédural, pose un problème supplémentaire parce que le sol sur lequel vont être placées les épaves de vaisseau, c'est pas régulier. Ça peut être plat, ça peut être super distordu. Donc c'est un défi supplémentaire de penser à ce que le système s'adapte au sol et pas adapter le sol au système. C'est un petit peu
Which was
un petit peu plus
big
compliqué.
challenge in of itself to find out that balance between how granular it has to be so it can conform to the more kind of difficult terrain and how detailed we can make it while keeping those limitations in mind. Our technical artist made a special piece of tech for us that basically is able to track an area that we selected for all the deformities and all the how the ground is actually how it looks, And it can
Parce qu'ils
sample
veulent pas
all
non
the
plus
areas where we want
être
different
obligés de
pieces,
toutes les placer
to be
un
at,
par
and
un.
it will place it exactly, so
Parce
that
qu'il
it's
y a
exactly
tellement de
what it should
planètes,
be.
donc
And we don't
tellement
have to do
de
anything. We actually build our derelicts on a
d'épaves
flat
à,
surface.
d'épaves à
Everything else is
mettre
done
qu'à un
by
moment donné,
an
ben
amazing
là,
job done by our technical artists.
Once we got all our pieces together, we started having a bit of fun with putting these rec sites together. We looked a lot at reference once again just to see what happened when, say for example, when an airliner has a crash, how it burns, how the different components break and lay on the ground. So yeah, we looked at the reference, we assembled our pieces in a separate level. That way we had a bit more control over where everything went and we could figure out exactly where things were going to go. And then it was just a case of packaging that together, exporting it onto the planet, and then essentially figuring out how it aligned with the planet. Yeah, just going from there really, just a lot of iteration and a lot of back and forth, but it was necessary to get the result we wanted.
There's the whole kind of design side of things. So these they're not just there for show. Design obviously have an input in what goes in them. You know, are they a mission waypoint? And then you know, once other systems start coming online, of course, like you might come across a site and it may be massively hostile, you know. And what intrigues me, and I kind of think I touched on it last year in an interview I'd done with Jared, he was talking to me about like, you know, what were you thinking? And I'm just like, well, I think in multiplayer map mode. So I'm just like, okay, there's a starfarer here. There's kind of a map in itself, but now I've got the luxury of kind of spreading that map around a kilometre square if I need to. But then you create these things of high risk and high reward. So there may be kind of like one turret that's working, right? You capture that turret, you all of a sudden become like a game objective in yourself. So it's just like I say, you just look for opportunities with this, we're creating the ultimate sandbox basically. So you look for opportunities to make the most of that.
I was responsible for breaking apart the Caterpillar, which is that big transport ship that can have a custom length, which was quite a difficult challenge on its own, because if you look at the Starfarer, for example, every Starfarer looks exactly the same. Caterpillar can have 2 cargo modules or can have 15 of them, the way it was built. So I had to kind of either I or any artist in the future that will be working on this ship and creating new scenarios can build pretty much whatever he wants, and however, and it's not restricted by just doing like a 5 module one.
So myself, I was put in charge of the Starfarer, which was probably one of the more easier one of the ships, purely with the fact that it was kind of confined to just a few elements in terms of the ship overall, where some ships there were many parts and many different combinations, such as the Caterpillar. The Starfarer itself was just essentially 5 pieces, which I sort of had to work on the materials so that they blended with the correct planet. But for me, it was quite fun to do because of the scale of it. As soon as you place it on a planet, it just adds so much scope to walk to wherever you are, and with the interior, you've got a vast sort of structure, which makes sense as a ship. But then, as soon as you make it a derelict site, you've got a lot of opportunities to sort of take that interior and do like quite a vast range of things with it, in terms of making it like either housing or like some sort of security den where there's some hidden like scavenge or like loot within.
I think what's really interesting is when you have these wreck sites on the ground, they're transformed in terms of their character. I think it's getting quite eerie, actually. Looking at something, say for example, the Constellation. It's quite a sleek, modern, advanced piece of technology. It's flying around. It's great, and then it's growing. Crashes on the ground, and it's nothing. It's just a shell. It's a husk. But what we really tried to get into the character of the wreck sites is just how varied they are. They could be, for example, have people lived in them, have creatures lived in them, how exactly did it crash, what caused it to happen. There are little things we can add to these crash sites which give them a lot of character and a lot of depth, and I think that's what's been really fun for me, just seeing if the players can figure out exactly what happened. Even if it may not necessarily be a mission objective, having that interest, I think, certainly helps build the universe.
Effectivement, le micro était coupé.
Yeah, I guess you could say ships have always held kind of a power.
Ça fait longtemps?
I mean, growing up, I couldn't get enough of them. I'd hang out by the pads any chance I got and listen to the pilots swap stories. My dad used to tell me.
Est-ce que ça fait longtemps ou bien vous avez l'impression que j'ai pas parlé depuis une demi-heure, là, 45 minutes? Parce que... Ah, c'est pas vrai! Ah! Et là, moi, je me donnais à fond, puis... Ah, bon sang! 1 à 2 bonnes minutes. Ah, si c'est juste 1 ou 2 minutes, ça va. Ah, phew! Morale de cette histoire, ne plus mettre le chat de Restream par-dessus le bouton. Comme ça, je vais le voir. C'est juste que ça fait que le chat il est un peu plus loin, puis je le vois moins. 1 à 2 bonnes minutes. Bon sang! Je suis vraiment navré.
They're a testament of life. Think about all the lives that touched this one ship before it got to this place. It's crazy, right? And there are a few things in this universe that have that kind of power.
it always comes down to the people who flew it. The modifications that they made to make it theirs. I mean, we could find 10 Connie wrecks, and even though the layout's going to be the same, every single one of them is going to be different. There'll be some kind of lingering presence to connect you to the people who lived on it.
Cette vidéo-là est dédiée à tous les gens qui cherchent des épaves et qu'est-ce que ces épaves-là signifient pour eux.
Maybe it was just growing up on a dusty rock, but a ship was freedom. There was limitless possibility.
Perdu et retrouvé. Lost and found.
These crash sites will be a great place to run missions, find valuable scrap, and maybe even encounter other players. Should make for some exciting gameplay.
Absolutely. Just be careful not to get so caught up in exploring, and one of them that you don't notice another player sneaking up on you.
And that's all for today's episode. A big thanks to all the subscribers for supporting our shows. And be sure to tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific to catch Happy Hour Friday. This week, Will Maiden and Gareth Bourne will be talking cargo and other game systems for 3.0 and beyond.
Finally, a quick message to all of our backers. You guys are awesome. None of this could happen without your continued interest and support. So, thank you for letting us build this truly unique game.
And until next week, we will see you
Around the verse.
around the verse.
Il trouve le moyen d'être
I
désynchronisé.
didn't know what you were doing. I never done that before.
And by the way, you may come across a site that we've not spoken about. There's only one of them in the verse, and if you find it, you're in for a pretty big surprise. Yes, there is. Hopefully, touch wood. I've been very adamant about it, and I'm 100% confident it will come through. But there is. We have to do derelicts for every ship in the game, right? So it's actually part of the ship pipeline now. So once we finish creating the ship, so it goes through the stages of white box, grey box, concepts, white box, grey.
Ils ont intégré au ship pipeline une étape supplémentaire qui est de créer l'épave de ce vaisseau-là. Là, tout le monde m'entend. Oui, ok, c'est beau. Et il y a un vaisseau. Il nous dit pas lequel, mais il y a un seul vaisseau qui n'a qu'un seul et unique épave. Et il dit celui qui va le trouver, il va avoir la surprise de sa vie.
Grey box, production, texturing, optimization, damage, derelict. So that's the other leg of all this now. So we have to do that with every ship in the game. So we've got quite a big backlog to do. We've done 4 already, but one of those 4 is massive, and you might come across one in the verse. There's only one in all the verse at the moment, but it's there hopefully to be discovered. And yeah, you can get a good sense of scale of how big these things are when they're on the ground. Good luck trying to find it. Cool. And you can see that from outer space. That's when you're going across the planet.
En plus, c'est tellement gros qu'on peut le voir dans l'espace.
On the terrain going past, it's that big. It's huge.
Ça va être quoi? Qu'est-ce qui est assez gros que même écrasé sur une planète, on soit capable de le voir dans l'orbite, là? Mais même à ça, un Bengal, tu sais, c'est quoi? C'est 1 km de long à peu près, là, mais je me semble 990 mètres. C'est pas assez gros pour qu'on le voit. Ben, je pense pas que ce soit assez gros pour qu'on le voit, là, quand on est en orbite. Et si... Puis si c'était quelque chose d'encore plus gros... Pourquoi pas un driller ou un kingship? Un vaisseau Vandal, là, parce qu'on s'entend, là, les Vandals ils ont des vaisseaux bien plus énormes que les nôtres, là. Oh ouais, note 32. Merci de me dire que t'as besoin d'une mise à jour que je ferai pas. Pas de suite. J'imagine que c'est Vandal. Ah, je sais jamais comment réduire ton nom. Corzheim. Mais ben j'imagine bien que ça doit être Vandal parce que c'est la race qui ont les vaisseaux les plus immenses là. Regardez, le Bengal, 990 mètres. Driller, 1700 mètres. C'est presque le double de long. Et après ça, il faut que ce soit gros en chien pour le voir, là. 2800 mètres, le Kingship.